Alright, working on a Berry Grant. I was told it's a 750. Measure the butterflies and the bore. That'll tell me exactly about what it is. Tear it apart, see what jets is in it, see what power valve's in it. Set it up the way I think it needs to be set up for his combo. Then take it back out there and put it on his car. Was messing with it last night and there's an issue internal somewhere. There's an issue with that, and I think his distributor is supposed to be locked out. I think it's actually got an advanced curve in it because it still acts like it's got, I turned the timing down to 36 degrees and it still acts like it's got way too much timing. So I'm going to pull it down to like 18 or 20 and then rev on it with my timing light hooked up and see where it goes. He said he thought it was locked out, but I don't think so. I'm going to run through this, set this up right, then I'm going to set his timing and stuff right, and then I'm going to run his valves and get it dialed in for him, because the car has plenty of potential to run really well. It's just run into issues here and there, so I'll get her all sorted out. This thing keeps fogging up on me. Alright, first thing, the jet's clotted. See that goop? It's completely stopped up. Alright, pop the secondary off, and this goop, I don't know what it is, but it's clotted up in the emulsion bear bleeds. So I'm going to clean all that out. Yeah, that crap's in that too. Alright, Mike said he sent this carb off to some fellow that redid it, and it come back with really small primary jets, and the reason for that is because they drilled out the power valve restrictor circuits way too large. They're almost 100 thousandths. I mean, that's huge. Now, if you're running E85 or alcohol or something like that, then that's what you need to do if you're running a power valve. But I'm going to put a block off in this and get rid of that, because that's not helping him. And the way I check this is I take a drill bit. I got these little tiny bits that are used for drilling out welding. You know, the little ends on a welder, you drill them out when they get clogged. So I take them and I run them in the holes. Then you find the one that fits the tightest. This is the biggest one I got, and it's not even tight. It's got slop to it. And this is an 80 thousandths. So that's closer to an 87 or a 90 thousandths hole. So that's pretty big. It's too big for what he's doing. So if he was street driving, you could jet accordingly and then let this make up the difference. You could jet, you know, like 62, 63, but he don't street drive this car. It's strictly a track car. So I'm going to block that off. I'm going to 84 square it, 84 primary, 84 secondary, and then go on from there. It's no bueno. So I'm going to pull the base plate off and check that, and check all the air bleeds. So I'll get it sorted out for him. The sucker will be good as new when I'm done with it. I was also looking at the gaskets here. The gaskets had the accelerator pump port halfway closed up, so you were never getting full pump shot of this thing. On both of them, actually. So I'm going to put a little notch in the gasket, open it up a little bit so you can get full pump shot. Alright, 81 primary, 84 secondary, power valves blocked off. I would have went 84, but I didn't have an 84 jet, so I went 81. And if you need to step it up, 81 should be fine, but if you need to step it up, you can go up to a 84, but I think the 81 should be perfect. Alright, I was closing off the primary right here, and I got to noticing, look at this. The pump arm doesn't set on the pump cam like it's supposed to. So, see that gap? So it's going to cause issues when you go to rev it. See, it's skating on the edge, so you're not getting full pump shot engagement. So I'm going to bend this all straight. Try to, at least. It's boogered up pretty good. Probably wouldn't hurt to buy another base plate. But see, they've drilled these holes in this thing. You don't have to do this unless you absolutely have to. I mean, that's something. If you do drill these, drill one on the primary side. Don't drill them all the way around, because this sometimes messes up your entire circuit tunability. I talked to a fellow the other day, kind of talked him through rebuilding the carburetor, and his had done that, and he couldn't get it to run. It wouldn't act right, everything else, and told him to weld them up. And then after he welded them up, he was able to get full tunability out of his carburetor again. It's just, it's pulling so much air you can't add enough fuel to it. So if I could, I would weld them up, but I ain't got a welder out here. Well, there you go. Adjustable wrench. Bend it back out. But I bent it back out, now I can fix this. See how boogered up that is? I might replace it, put a different pump cam on it for him, because that one's shot. So fix that too. So this is why you always got to check everything in a carburetor. I'll pull the base plate off and look at this. This is a 750 gasket that somebody has like torn the pieces out to make fit. See? Because anything bigger than a 750, this is not a 750 carburetor. See how these are in line? It's much bigger than a 750. It's at least a 850. So that explains that. Yeah, this base plate's made to work with a 750 or an 850 or a 950, either one. See how they're like that? They're slotted. So yeah, I can't believe that somebody took and modified the gasket. He said he sent this off to a fellow to rebuild it. I don't know who that fellow was. Like, I'm not trying to knock nobody, but you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't hog these out if you're a carb rebuilder. You're not going to do that. You're going to put the correct gasket on it, because the kits come with both 800 and bigger base plate gaskets and 800 and smaller base plate gaskets. See, 750 or 800 CFM and smaller has a staggered. They're staggered. These are in line. So this is at least 850 or 830, 850 or bigger. So I'm going to get my calipers and I'm going to measure and find out exactly what it is. All depends on the butterflies. A little bit smaller butterflies, bigger bore, it's probably, I'd say it's probably 850, but I'll measure this and measure that. It could be a 950, which is an 850 center and a 750 base plate. Alright, I got his carb all back together. Everything is set exactly the way it's supposed to be set now. Accelerator pumps, accelerator pump cams. The arm is back bent straight. Correct pump cam on it. Now it's got 81 primary, 84 secondary. It's actually a 950, not a 750. 850 main body, 750 base plate. Measured it with my calipers. It's a 950. Cleaned out the high and low air bleeds. Blocked off power valve, primary and secondary. Like I said, 81, 84s. Now I'm just going to set up the secondary where it comes in at. You want it to start opening up 3/4 of the primary. So when the primary's 3/4 or halfway, that's when you want the secondary to start opening up. So I'm going to play with that adjustment, and then it'll be done. Mixture screws are out 1.5 turns all the way around. Probably have to come out a little bit more to compensate for the holes in the butterflies, because they're not welded up and they're not closed off. So, but I'm going to start with 1.5, because with these HP style carbs, you don't really have, most of the time you have to come out maybe a half a turn. So 1.5 ought to be pretty rich at idle. So we'll see what that does. But I had quite a few issues, and I run through and fixed everything that I seen wrong with it. Gaskets, new gasket on the bottom, on the base plate. The correct gasket, not this ghetto one that somebody like notched out. Got the correct one, so that's good. So yeah, now I just got to set up the linkage, the progressive linkage for the secondary, where I want it to start opening up. Took out the 31 shooter, put in a 25 to extend the pump shot a little longer to help with the secondary so they come in. I may put the 31 back in. I'm just going to see how it works on the engine. But I got a 28, 31, 35, 38, and 40. So I don't think it needs that much fuel, but we'll see. 25, 31, 81, 84, and blocked off power valves. So she should be good now. Alright, now it's done. Take it out there and bolt it up and see how it does. Alright, got the carb on. Got it dialed in pretty close. Timing's 34 to 35 degrees. So we're going to take it up the road and see what it does. It's a lot better than it was before, so we'll see.
I'll leave and sit back here once you get down there. Okay.
Alright, Michael Harts, Barry Grant. I rebuilt this thing like a week ago and it runs amazing. But this is a 950 and he's got a 350 small block. This 950 is way too big for that motor. I mean, it's got 12-to-1 compression and everything else, but still this carb is way too big for it. So I'm gonna take a 750 main body, take everything off this and put it on that 750 main body, because a 950 has the same base plate as a 750. I'll show you when I pull it off. But see the size of the bores, and then see these bores? He's losing velocity with this. It has no, I mean, it revs good and clean, but this is going to be so much snappier and it'll actually give it some bottom end. This has just doesn't pull until about 5 grand, and it really starts to pull. So gonna fix that for him. I went out there yesterday and fixed all his guide plates. He had 2 broke push rods, 2 lifters that popped out of the bores because the push rods broke. So I got in there with a magnet and fished all that stuff out. Was able to get the lifters back down in the bores, and then fix his guide plates for him, put new push rods in for him, set all the lag, set it at 18 thousandths, nice and tight, real good. This thing keeps fogging up. I don't know why it does that. It ain't that cold out here. But yeah, and I told him when we put this on there that this was too big, but he didn't have no other carburetor, so I'm fixing to fix one for him. The only concern is I don't think these bolts are going to fit in that main body, so I have to dig out and get some bolts out of my box. Alright, new gasket for it. There's the base plate. See how this base plate's made with a slot, so you can run 850 or bigger main body, or a smaller 750, 650, 600, whatever. So throw this on that. Should be good. Does measure the bores, and much bigger bore, less taper. This has got more taper, so should have more velocity. Alright, I've gone with 79 blocked off power valves instead of the 81, 84 that I had before. Now that's 750, it's at 79 square. Alright, there it is. 750 main body, 750 base plate, it's just a 750. closed the primary up a little bit because I had these holes in it. Opened up a secondary a little bit because the primary was open a little bit too far. I think it was pulling a little bit of fuel to get the idle where he wanted it. So to compensate that, I can adjust the mixture screws a little bit, but I'm going to wait till I bolt it on and then adjust it, and it should be good. And if this works good for him, I'm going to build him a custom 750 deal. Remove the choke, adjust the air bleeds and all that stuff, because if you see, as bigger these are than what they are in the back, it's compensate for the choke. You can't just cut a choke off without messing with the air bleeds, because stock Hollies are set up to compensate for the tower as far as the air. So if you just cut that off, then you get a mixture issue. That's why I don't just hack them off unless I'm planning on messing with the air bleed system. There it is, it's a 750. Now I'm gonna go out to Dustin'S and throw some different jets and block off plate in his carburetor and run his valves for him so he can go test and tune the car. I done dubbed the carburetor one time, but I told him to get block off plates, and it'd be better with block off plates, so he ordered those. So I'm gonna go put them in for him and all that good stuff. So. Alright, I stepped the primary jet up from a 90 to a 100, blocked off power valve, 100 mains, 102 secondaries, power's on. In there. Alright, got this carb all adjusted. Now I'm running his valves. Setting them all 18 cold, and they heat up to about 21, 22 when they get hot. So, oh, he's got a lot of nice stuff in this motor. Whew, party. If you ain't got one of them little bump starters, which I used to have but I broke or smashed or threw somewhere, I don't know. You run a wire from back there, from the battery up, and then you tape it right under, and then you take the two wires and you go, all right, let's see, I need the exhaust open, up, exhaust open, all right, set the intake, and I need the intake come open all the way and back up halfway, boom, okay, then you set the exhaust. So, all these are now set, 18 rock solid. I had set them at 20 before, and the paper called for 22 hot, so drop her down to 18, and when it heats up it'll be about 21, 22 right where it made the most power. There's this dyno sheet right there. I could show everybody how much power that motor actually makes, but I ain't going because it ain't nobody's business. It's beast. That's a beast motor. That is a 283 small block, and it made 243 horsepower at 5,200 RPM. Yep, 283. I'm kidding, it's a 327. Right then, there it is, all set and ready to go. Just fire it up. Oh, sounds good. Sounds good. So, let's wrap.
Yeah, folks, this is happening. Just got a S10. We don't want the truck. We got it for this. For Colton's Blazer.
That's pretty good for battery too.
5.3. Go LS swap the Blazer with a single turbo. It'll have a Holly on it, not this. It'll crock.
Yep. He jumped the boundaries to LS.
No, it's too good of a deal.
Yeah.
It ain't too bad. I'll flick this throttle. Fucking speaker wire. I've never done that.
Not loaded full of fuel.
Yeah. Huh? There's fuel in it.
Everything's been painted. Well, this was such a good deal because it comes with this, comes with this, comes with the wiring. This has already been
Intake.
converted.
Yeah.